Welcome to qnawire.
The angle next to angle B would be 120 degrees because it's a linear pair. And then we can complete this triangle here because there's 180 degrees in it, and that's got to be the 10 degrees. And you can do something called the law of sines, which you should, I think this is probably what you're studying, that the sine of the 50-degree angle over its opposite side, which is D, would be equal to the sine of 10 degrees over its opposite side, 30. And you can cross multiply. 30 sine 50 equals D sine 10, but then you divide sine 10 so that you're solved for D. This goes into a calculator. As you see it, make sure you're in degree mode, but this should come out to about 132.34 for D. Now, the question is find the height h and to the nearest integer. Well, h belongs to a right triangle, so you can use SOHCAHTOA here. And now that we have D, we can say something like, well, the h is opposite the 60 degrees, and the D that we know is a hypotenuse. Opposite hypotenuse is the sine. So the sine of 60 degrees is equal to the opposite, which is h, over the hypotenuse, 132.34. Cross multiply 132.34 times the sine of 60 would be what h is equal to. Go to the calculator and you'll see that's about 114.6, but it does say round to the nearest integer. I'd say the height is 115 meters. Number 2, we've got a triangle B, C, and G to represent the airports. From B to C is 156, from C to G is 161, and from G to B is 297. You want to find the measure of the smallest angle, which would be opposite the smallest side, which would be angle G. Here you'd have to use the law of cosines, and you have formulas for it that you can look up, but it says if we're going to use this angle opposite side pair, the side 156 squared would be equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, so 161 squared plus 297 squared, minus 2 times the other two sides, all multiplied by the cosine of that angle that we want to find, G. Subtract the 161 squared and subtract the 297 squared, that'll give you negative 89,794, and that'd be equal to, I'll go ahead and multiply the negative 2 times 161 times 297 is negative 95,634 times the cosine of angle G. Divide both sides by negative 95,634 and you get just cosine G, and that number to 4 decimal places is 0.9389. And the last thing you would do to solve for angle G is to take the inverse cosine of each side. So the inverse cosine of 0.9389, make sure your calculator is in degree mode, and you'll get 20.1 degrees. So the measure of angle G is 20.1. Maybe you can round that to the nearest integer as well, and that would just be 20 degrees.